Behavior did not give Mikaela an official birth date, so finding her sign won't be as simple as looking at the date of her birth and seeing what it is. So to find out her chief zodiac sign, we will combine our knowledge of the zodiac with our knowledge of Mikaela Reid's lore and abilities, and we'll discover which sign's energies and themes she most closely embodies. Hi there, I'm the Real Hobo, and over the last 10 years I've read entire books on the subject of astrology, divination, and magic, and have perused countless online articles and perspectives. I've commissioned highly detailed readings on the zodiac, and I also have friends who are professional astrologers themselves who I consult. I began my journey into astrology over a decade ago by divining both my sign and its associated specific element after my own near-death experience. Like Mikaela, I also own magic crystals, I have burnt sage to dissipate negative energies, I own a tarot deck that I use for readings, and even have a tarot-inspired tattoo. I've got extensive knowledge and experience with magic, so I am uniquely qualified to discover Mikaela's sign. We'll begin our investigation into her lore. As I read the climax of her story where she stepped boldly onto the stage, I knew what her sign was immediately. Let's read it together really quick. She reminded herself that tonight was All Hallows' Eve, when the veil thinned betwixt this realm and the one beyond. She spoke into the microphone in a deep, haunting voice. She narrated a tale of billowing winds on a cold autumn night, of a loyal friend disappearing before daylight, of forgotten victims hiding in the wings of darkness, of throbbing graves sealed with terrible secrets, and of eternal night in the shadow of death. Mikaela pointed at the night sky and said that no darkness was truly beyond light. Even on this moonless night, the sky shined with long dead stars. A thick black fog engulfed Mikaela to the audience's amazement, and Mikaela Reid was never seen again. This entire ending is overflowing with repeated themes that could only come from one sign. Death, life, light, dark, a moonless night shining with stars, a darkness that is not beyond the light, secrets, loyalty, depth, autumn, graves, eternity, this realm and the realm beyond, Halloween itself. Many of the 12 signs in the zodiac share some of these elements, but only one of the 12 encompass all of them. Only Scorpio, who rules the Halloween heavens, embodies each and every last one of these attributes. Mikaela Reid is most definitely a Scorpio. By the way, really quick, if you enjoy this type of content and would like to see more of it, consider liking this video, dropping me a comment, or even subbing to the channel to support me in my work. I appreciate every single view, and I would like to thank you for watching this right now as we speak. Scorpio is the sign of life and death, beginnings and ends, light and dark, and the paradoxical mysteries that create unison out of disparities. Mikaela's commentary that no darkness is beyond light is a completely Scorpio observation. Scorpios, more so than any other sign in the zodiac, draw connection between two seemingly opposed or opposite entities. Pun intended. To most people, night and day are separate times, and life and death are separate states of being. To a Scorpio, they are merely dual aspects of a greater whole, eternity. Time and being are states of oneness that others separate, but to a Scorpio, they are one state. To best understand a Scorpio, if you're familiar with a show called Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, there is a recurring theme of all is one and one is all. It is a very Scorpio phrase regarding alchemy of equivalent exchange, rooted in destroying one thing for the creation of another. Life, death, and rebirth, part of one cycle, is a Scorpio trait. Mikaela drawing connections between seemingly polar opposites is thoroughly Scorpio. We may think Gemini, but Gemini are more likely to notice the differences in seemingly similar things, not sameness. Although both signs deal in dualities, Mikaela's relationship with duality is that of a Scorpio and not of a Gemini. Scorpios are also likely to be more serious, while Geminis tend to be more mischievous. Mikaela shows a lot of sincerity and no mischief, so this lends again to Scorpio and not toward Gemini. Gemini could be in her chart because she definitely has some air, but it is not her dominant sign. Scorpios are the masters of the occult and magic. While many signs practice magic, few are as closely associated with the arcane arts than a Scorpio. Mikaela practices light blessings, plant-based spells, and palm reading. Plant magic is very Scorpio-esque, but palm divination tends to fall closer to magic that's more closely associated with Pisces, and both are associated with light magic. Dreams are featured heavily in Mikaela's story, so I believe Pisces is a strong second in her birth chart right behind Scorpio, based on her magic and her dreams. We'll talk more about Pisces soon, and there's more evidence coming that Scorpio is her dominant sign and Pisces is her second sign. More so than any other sign, Scorpios walk the veil between the known world and the hidden world. Mikaela turning her attention to this reality on Hallows Eve is completely consistent with the mystical outlook a Scorpio has on the world around them. Mikaela uses her magic to create two very Scorpio-themed perks. Boon Shadow Step veils survivors in secrecy, as is befitting the sign of the Zodiac most concerned with secrets. She also uses paradoxical magic to create healing out of horror, with Boon's Circle of Healing. Scorpios are masters of paradox. They see the yin in each yang and the yang to each yin, and Mikaela's lore and her boons perfectly exemplify this. Totems, previously reserved only to create hexes that inflict suffering and despair, are now sublimated and transformed to create healing and hope. She has found the light inside the darkness of the totems. While there's now another survivor with a boon and probably more boons to come, it's important to me thematically that Mikaela not only introduced the boon mechanic, but she also has two of them. The magic of her perks work very much like Scorpio magic. Fun fact, the entity itself would likely also be closely associated with Scorpio, as it is a twisted and, by most of our standards, evil incarnation of some kind of fixation on life, death, and rebirth, which is again the main crux of Scorpio. Whereas the entity uses these powers of the connected cycles of eternity to inflict darkness and despair, Mikaela harnesses the same knowledge of oneness to promote hope and life. If the entity were ever once human, and for the record, I don't know at this moment or think that it was, but if it was, there's a high likelihood it would have began its life much like Mikaela, but it would have slipped further and further into the deep darkness and eventually become consumed by boundless malevolence, destructiveness, hunger, and pride. 4 famous vices of the Scorpio gone bad. Mikaela probably shares more in common with this entity than any other survivor. Sorry, Nia. Mikaela, however, began in darkness and chased the light, becoming throughout her life the best version of a Scorpio. Drifting in painful darkness, she almost lost herself, but resiliently, with love and care, she made her way back to shore. She has one very intense friendship, which is consistent with Scorpios preferring fewer and deeper connections with people rather than many and shallower ones. While many other signs share that trait, I'm mentioning it just because it's yet another thing very consistent with the Scorpio energies that I believe Mikaela possesses. Mikaela's perk Clairvoyance is a one-off. A sign like Pisces would be much better associated with Clairvoyance. Everyone has many signs in their birth chart, so it's noteworthy that this gives more clues to Mikaela's overall astrology. So, Mikaela has 2 perks closely associated with Scorpio and 1 with Pisces, which is also consistent with her story. Scorpio first and Pisces second in all facets of her character. Halloween is when Mikaela's story takes place. It is the peak of Scorpio season when the Scorpion rules the night sky. Her personality, abilities, important life events, and personal attention all point toward the season of Scorpio and its magics and mysteries as her dominant sign. Her character, first tome, and story are all firmly cemented around Halloween, Scorpio's season. While this may have been an accident, I wonder if behavior didn't tap into some kind of intuition to make all these elements line up so neatly. Either that, or they had someone familiar and deliberate with astrology involved in Mikaela's design and lore. According to astrologers, important ends and beginnings usually happen around somebody's birthday. Whether coincidence or not, this has certainly been the case in my life, even having an abrupt eviction on the day before my birthday and the beginning of a new life the next. Not all beginnings and endings are so geographically dramatic, but Mikaela's is the most dramatic of all, as she ends her life in one place and one time, and begins her next in a place of no place and a time of no time. Giving her not only a specific time, but also day for her entry into the fog points very strongly that she was born during this season, the Scorpio season. If Scorpio were her sun sign, and I believe it is, or at least it should be, then her birthday is probably no earlier than a week before Halloween, or no later than a week after it. I believe she has a Scorpio sun, a Pisces moon, and an air sign as her ascendant, and I think that air sign is Libra because of her stage presence. This would be especially fitting if she was born before Halloween, as Libra had just been in the sky before that week. If Scorpio is not her sun sign, or if behavior gave her a lousy birthday with an ill-fitting sign, I would put Scorpio as her moon, keep the air sign as her ascendant, and put Pisces into her houses or planets wherever that best fits. Unless they gave her a Pisces sun, then we could just give her a Scorpio moon. But as it stands, I say Scorpio sun, Pisces moon, Libra ascendant. And lastly, just look at that butt. That's a Scorpio butt if I've ever seen one. If you disagree and think Mikaela's ruled by a different sign, please let me know in the comments. And if the astrology in Dead by Daylight is something you'd like to see more of, and if you have a survivor or killer you're curious about, please let me know as well. And if you just want to make fun of me for outing myself as a superstitious practitioner of magic, you can do that too. No publicity is bad publicity, and my videos could use all the attention I can get my hands on if they're going to go viral or something. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Hobo out.